Okay, these are the sounds for the second quiz. So you need to know all the ones for quiz one still. You're gonna have to know all of them through the whole semester, so you might as well learn them as fast as you can. All right, so I'll do them. Here's the sound ta, ta, just like what you would think it would be. And you can write it just like this. This is how you see it on the phonetic chart. And I kind of write my T's this way, so I do this. So either of these are okay. You just want to make sure if you make that hoop at the bottom or loop at the bottom, don't do it like this is too big. This is a different sound. So you don't, so in some ways this is the better way to write this sound. But if you have a very little hook at the bottom, that's fine. That's ta. This is da, da as in dog, right? This is ta as in toy. This is na as in no, beginning of no. This is la as in the beginning of low or lie, all right? So those are all pretty easy, very straightforward. This is ra, all right? So what we think of as an R sound, this is the phoneme ra. And so you're gonna have to make it upside down and backwards, basically. If you do this, this is the trilled R, if you know, learn Spanish or something, which is one of the sounds that's the hardest for me to make. I can't do it very well. But so sometimes in the past, and even now, speech pathologists used to use this as their R sound. You'll see it in some older speech pathology books. It might even be in your book, your textbook, I can't remember. But I really don't like that. I feel like that's a history of when speech pathology assumed everyone spoke English, everyone they worked with spoke English, were only interested in English. Because if you're only interested in English, then you can use this as your ra sound because you have no other kind of ra sound. But like probably a number of you know Spanish, a number of you might be working with someone who speaks Spanish, and that is the Spanish R, okay? This is the English ra, ra. So learn this one. You're gonna have to learn this one too eventually, but this is the A, like in the middle of the word plate and mate and maid, all right? And I forgot to do one thing that I'm gonna do later with the O, okay? When you, in English, when we say A, we actually really always say it as a diphthong. So this is good for right now. When I say A, if I'm giving you this sound, that's the one you have to write down. This is a pure A, okay? A. But in actuality, when you're transcribing words in English, this is what you're going to use always when you think you're hearing an A, like in a word plate or anytime A, you're going to be transcribing this. But for right now, just worry about this. All right, this is A. And so this is a sound used in Spanish and some languages where they do not have a diphthong. They have a pure A. This is the sound E, as in the middle of the word head or the beginning of the word egg. E. Okay, so it's kind of like a backwards 3. This is the sound O, as in the word boat or Coke, O, okay? And just like with the A, these two sounds in Spanish, they are made purely A and O, and they're not made as a diphthong, but in English, American English speakers, we do this. We make this A, we move a little bit, and O, we move a little bit when we make an O. So like just I said with this one, when you are transcribing this, by next week probably, you're going to start using this when you like transcribe potato, that O at the end will be this. When you transcribe boat, you're going to have to use these two sounds together, all right? But for right now, this is the sound O. You're just learning kind of the phonemes by themselves, all right? This is A, like in the word had or man, A. Calvin, okay? And so when you're writing it, I'll just show you. I usually kind of do like this, spin around, and do this. But you can do it however you want. You know, it's kind of looking like a little A with a loop and an E next to each other. That's ah. All right. This next one, this is one, I remember before I taught you the diphthong I, and it looked like this. It had this little A with the tail at the beginning, and then it had a capital I. This is the diphthong ow. Ow. I'll put a little line under it. So a lot of speech pathologists, they put the little loop underneath to show a diphthong. So ow, like in how, proud, the middle of the word proud, cow, the last ow, ow, okay? And again, you have to be exactly perfect. You have to have the A with the little loop, and you have to have these little, whatever you call it, curve, little lines on the U, all right? So this is wrong. It's not this U that you learned last week. This is wrong, okay? This is wrong. You can't just have A and then a U with no lines on it. You have to have this, these two little hooks at the top. This is wrong because you have the wrong A. That's wrong. And this is completely wrong because neither of the two sounds are correct, all right? So once again, you have to be super, super careful in phonetics. And then we have two last sounds, all right? These are going to be sounds, the grapheme for these sounds, remember grapheme essentially means letter, or actually the digrapheme, two graphemes, is TH. When we have a TH in a word, we think that sounds like the or the. It's actually two different sounds. It's two different phonemes. Here's the grapheme, right? Here's the digrapheme, two letters. That's how you spell it, but we are not interested in spelling. That's why we don't care that there is only one spelling. There's only one digrapheme for this, but there's actually two different sounds that this represents in English, right? So sometimes this one here, which is like a circle with a line through it, this is a sound th. All right, like in thank, thistle, thin, thigh, th. So make sure you say these. Some people have a hard time hearing the difference between these two sounds. It's probably because they're thinking of the letter. They're thinking of the grapheme. But it's two different sounds. You should be able to hear the difference, right? This is th. This is a voiceless sound where you don't vibrate your vocal folds. So you can say th, and nothing happens down here. Thigh, thin, think. All right. This is the sound the, like in the, then, these, those, them. All right. We use this in a lot of little words. So this is the. I'm adding if I don't use any of the vowel sound, this sound just by itself is and this sound is right? So hopefully you can hear very, very different sounds, right? I mean, shouldn't say very different. They're made in the same way with your mouth, right? So for both of them, your tongue is touching your upper teeth, and you say or you say for this one. So two words that you can really hear the difference. If you say thigh, like the body part, thigh, you use this sound. If you say thy, like the old-fashioned, thy, you, where you would say it's thy will or something, thy will be done. That's this sound, thy, thigh, okay? So there's some practice in your textbook. If you are having a hard time telling the difference between these two, you want to find these symbols in your book and do some practice with them, because you're going to have to really have these down pat. But this is a good example of where the grapheme, the digrapheme here, two letters, two graphemes, digrapheme, nothing to do with the phonetic sounds, because there's two different sounds that represent it. We're only interested in sounds. We're not interested in this. Right? You are just trying to hear a sound and always write a symbol for it. Okay? So those are your sounds for quiz 2, plus all the ones you had to know before.